right, Ambitions fans, here is the episode review for Season 1, Episode 9, Giving Up. It aired on the 13th. I watched it on the 15th, and I'm doing the review on the 16th, so there you go. Up front, 9 out of 10. It was a pretty solid episode from start to finish. Just a quick disclaimer. I know some people are probably thinking, Jeremy, how are you giving Ambitions like 8s, 8.5s, 9s, but then when it comes to the haves and the have-nots, it's very rare that you'll even give an episode so much as an 8.5. Long story short, this is Ambition's first season. Even though I think the haves and the have-nots is better, I think Ambitions is doing some things right that the haves and the have-nots, despite being on for 6 seasons, still fumbles with. I mean, the reason I'm giving the scores as high as they are because I feel like every episode has my attention from start to finish. It seems like every episode there's so much going on that you really need to pay attention in order to keep up, but there still are enough sweet sentimental moments as well as oh my gosh moments or aha moments. But on top of that, when we get to Ambition Season 2, as far as I know, it has not been renewed, but it's one of those situations where if we get Ambition Season 2, Season 3, you'll see that I might be more strict with my rankings because then I could say, okay, this is Season 2, Episode 12, but when I compare it to the flow of like Season 1, Season 2 isn't doing so well, so the scores might vary. So I just want to do a quick disclaimer to let you know why the scores are kind of high compared to the haves and the have-nots. Now, this episode, pretty good, titled Giving Up. Rondell is pretty depressed for good reason, too. The petition that she worked so hard to get completed, I believe it had over 5,100 signatures. It got shattered because over 60% of the signatures were from people who didn't live in the district. The only kind of nitpick I had with this is the fact that, well, before putting together a petition or something like that to save the banks, wouldn't you know about that? You would know that you would have to get specifically people who lived in the district that you're trying to save it. Like, I get it. It's one of those things where, like, even later in the episode, Stephanie's like, that hood rat doesn't know how to read a contract. But it just strikes me as odd. I mean, you would think, or even Kent, being someone who works for, like, the government and whatnot, you would think he would have known. I don't know. It's just a little thing I thought of. It's not like a reason this episode doesn't get a 10, but it's just one of those things where I'm kind of like, it's kind of odd they didn't think of that before. That's all I'm saying. Let's see. After that, Lori's at a mixer, and it's actually a pretty strong opening to the episode. And let me just say up front, Lori has like 2 to 4 different looks in this episode, and she looks amazing in each one. Meeting up with a friend named Heather, who pretty much complements the decor of the location for the mixer. A sweet chocolate thing walks on in and is eyeballing Lori, looking her over. Lori goes over. Next thing you know, a guy comes over, and then it's a threesome. I'm like, okay, that's one way to set up the episode. Next scene, we have Evan and Stephanie having breakfast together. Pretty much, Evan is, caught off guard the fact that Senior had called saying that, Rondell's petition had fallen apart. And Stephanie unconvincingly tries to act like she doesn't know what's going on. But, her and Evan both are like, wait, did you do it? No, did you do it? And then they have a finger looking good moment where it comes to, I got a plan that will work out for everyone, even Greg Peters. But then everything is pretty much, put on hold because she gets a text message with the alert that Titus was arrested. And that pretty much ends that. So in any case, we have to move forward with the fact that, Lori and Titus have a moment, pretty much recapping what happened. Lori is using this opportunity to potentially get Titus out of her way. She sees Titus as a surrogate son that Hunter employed, even though she feels like it's her right to take over the Purifoy empire, if you will, which is kind of messed up because of the fact when Stephanie was all up in Lori's face at the Purifoy company, Titus was the first to jump in and kind of break up the situation, and he and Lori even had a brief talk about it. So in a way, he gave Lori the benefit of the doubt, but she's not doing the same thing with him here. She's going to try to use this opportunity to get rid of him, and even goes a bit forward to say, hey, the guy you attacked, that Damien, doesn't he work at the same place that your wife does? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then we have Bella arriving to Thelma's place with Hakeem, pretty much asking her mom to help watch him because of the fact that, hey, I need to get some designs ready so I could possibly work with Valentina's company. So from there, she decides to, hey, you know what? Maybe I can get somebody to fill in during Thelma's because it's the anniversary week. And then we also have a quick moment where Amar is working through the hallways at work. Some people are talking with Damien, pretty much concerned over, the fact that his face got bashed in. He goes into her office and it's just a back and forth. Titus is trying to play mind games between their past affair as well as the trust between, do you trust me or do you trust your husband more? And just to let you know, Amara is pretty much on edge the entire episode. And still, like I said before, Essence Atkins is the best in terms of portraying her character, like the best actor on the show, in my opinion. And Damien's little moment is kind of interrupted because, like Stephanie earlier in the episode with Evan, he gets text messages from Stephanie like, what the hell are you doing, in regards to Titus being arrested. Then we go over to Linnell, who's now working at Thelma's place, and Rondell is taken aback by that. Senior wants to propose and is like, hey, Linnell has a few ideas for different things that, we could put on the menu and this and that. And yeah, Rondell doesn't take it too well, but then again, he's like, yeah, you know what? This is a situation where maybe you can go on and move on with your life because I'm trying to move on with mine. And that's a pretty good statement. I think Evan made that comment in episode 2 or 3 when he was talking to Rondell. Like, when was the last time you went on a date or, had someone in your life? Because you put your life on hold for Thelma's place, but you might be better off, moving forward, maybe finding someone, getting married, having kids. But Rondell wanted, put her life on hold for Thelma's, and that is her life. So pretty much getting rid of Thelma's is like getting rid of, well, the thing that she feels makes her feel needed or valuable or something that her community in the banks needs. Then we move forward to Evan and Bella's mom playing with Hakeem, and the fact that he doesn't want to have his son grow up without his dad, especially with Bella's mom knowing what that's like because Bella's dad wasn't around. Then Bella shows up and gets pissed the fact that the visitation schedule wasn't followed, but Evan makes it clear, I will be in our son's life no matter what. And the thing that's most shocking about this moment is Hakeem says, bye, Mr. Evans, not, dad. So it's pretty much him being taught not to call Mr. Lancaster, Mayor Lancaster, his father. So then we also go back to Damon's place where he's pretty much drunk. Stephanie comes over pissed off that Titus was caught in the crossfire Damien's schemes, who rightfully points out that, hey, when you blackmailed me into this gig to ruin their marriage, you didn't specify exactly what were the limitations of what I could and couldn't do in order to break them up. And then he figures out that the reason you want Titus and the charges dropped and Titus unharmed is because you have feelings for him. So pretty much Damien calls her out, but then she threatens to put him away for good. So he puts her in a chokehold, which she then pulls out a gun and is like, before you do anything else, you run it by me first. And that's pretty much the end of that. So Amar is at her desk, and well, yeah, this is like the only time in the episode where she's relatively calm because a lot of stuff is going down in her life. Brody comes in, who I believe is like an IT person at the agency they work at, and pretty much said, and this is the most important part about this scene, is like, hey, I have some new software updates for your computer. But Amar's like, oh, I can do it myself. And then he's like, oh yeah, you're one of the few people in this building who's tech savvy. And it's like, yeah, there's no problem, especially because you love to work. Oh, what do you mean? Because, he brought up the fact that you're logging into your computer at all hours of the night, 3, 4 a.m. But then when he leaves, Amar puts 2 and 2 together that Titus was the one doing this. So then we move forward with Evan going to see Rondell at Thelma's place. One of my favorite moments of the episode, the fact that, Evan goes, I love these moments with his dad and his sister. So he's pretty much, commenting on the fact that dad moving on isn't a bad thing. It's been 35 years, so it's good that he's moving forward with his life. And then tries to convince Rondell, why don't you and Senior have a meeting with Stephanie in regards to the English Rose development due to the fact that the petition fell through. And that was actually a pretty good moment. I love that. So from there, we have Stephanie and Lori talking. Long story short, Lori gets blackmailed severely. And the thing about it is, we know Stephanie takes pleasure in what she does because we later have Jess and Daniel, the two people from earlier in the episode, the guy and girl that Lori had a threesome with. They step out in full like waiter attire with the drinks. And I'm just like, Stephanie is enjoying this. The fact that Jess and Daniel could have just stepped out of the back, not, just dressed in regular clothes. They didn't even have to be there. They could have been paid off screen. But the fact that Stephanie did all these theatrics just to see the stunned look on Lori's face was hilarious. So they videotaped the sexcapade, and the blackmail is, you break up with my daughter or I'll expose you to her. Either way, Carly gets hurt, but she's young, you're more experienced. You just easily whipped her, but I can help her get over you, no problem. So then Lori leaves because, well, she just got served, literally. Then we go to Bella working hard on her designs. Hakeem's driving his toy truck over her designs, and that's kind of messing her up. Senior stops by in a very sweet moment. The fact that he came by with some food and pretty much to offer some help to keep Hakeem occupied while Bella works on her designs, which begs the question, does Senior know that Hakeem is his grandson? Because I was just looking at the way he was, looking with a smile when Hakeem came to Thelma's place earlier when Bella was asking her mom to help watch him while she worked on some design. So I was very curious about that. Did they mention that in the earlier episode? I might have forgotten. The show's been on for over 2 months now. So then we have Amara mad at Titus, rightfully so, because of the fact that not only have you been lying to me, but you've been going behind my back using my computer in order to look up information on Damien, and you possibly could have triggered an investigation or whatever because of the fact you've been logging on like that, which doesn't bode well because that lets me know, well, what if Brody saw all the searches that were going on Amara's laptop late at night, and if it came up on Damien's information, that might actually be damning to Titus if it shows up that he's been looking up his information on Amar's computer in order to stalk him, leading to him being even more guilty when it comes to the physical assault. But that leads to the next scene, and real quick, Titus makes it clear that he's not going to stop until, Damien's, taken care of, and Amar is flustered by this. So then Brody is blowing Damien because it looks like the arrangement they had was, hey, I'm not even going to lay a finger on Amara and Titus in order to ruin their marriage. What you need to do is plant seeds of dissent in Amara by bringing up the fact that she's been logging onto her computer late at night. Amara will put 2 and 2 together, figure out Titus is behind this, and then that would cause a fight, which was a very good move. It's kind of funny, well, not funny, but very weird. The fact that, Damien went through this in order to help sever their marriage. And then a couple weeks ago, he got 2 guys to, beat him up. So I ain't no telling what he's going to do next. So then we have Senior and Rondell meeting with Stephanie, pretty much talking about Thelma's Place redesign, the fact it will be a staple within the English Rose development. How about a 99-year lease? You can keep the name Thelma's Place. We can have apartments and all these other kinds of businesses in order to just elevate the neighborhood. They agreed to it. And then after they leave, Stephanie's like, well, that hood rat doesn't know how to read a contract. Leave out the 99-year lease and the fact that they'll have affordable rooms for like the tenants and everything. But at the same time, the employees at Thelma's Place will be receiving a very sizable workman's comp, when they close down Thelma's Place for the redesign. So after that, Carly and Lori meet up after Carly's getting out of school. Lori looking beautiful. I don't even know why I said fly. Carly looked interesting, with her hair in that way. It was a very different look for her, and it was pretty good. And they have a nasty breakup, if you will, because Lori comes clean about her cheating, but then also Stephanie blackmailing her. But on top of that, kind of sort of defending herself because Carly and Lori never really defined what they were to begin with. But Carly gets pissed off and doesn't want Lori to even talk about her mom at all. But she's like, well, you don't believe me? Ask your mom about it. And then that's it. So for everybody shipping Corey, that ship has sailed. Damien goes see Amara again. and, pretty much throws his cards on the table. Hey, I dropped the charges against your husband. But hey, you know what? All this trouble you're going through, you're better off with me. He gets 5 fingers to the face, and then that's it. And then we get to the last several minutes of the episode. Long story short, Stephanie is pushing for Thelma and I believe Senior to sign the documents to the Thelma's Place, redesigned by English Rose. But Evan is like, look, my dad is planning to propose. This is the anniversary of Thelma's Place. This is not the time to do it. But Stephanie just keeps pushing, leading to many, many things. So Bella's mom is pissed because Rondell was selling out despite the fact that they were working so hard to save the neighborhood. Then you have Linnell, who's pissed at Senior for making a big change like this without consulting her first. Then you have Kent, who's pissed off because, like he predicted earlier in the episode, this is a move by Lancaster. The fact you just want to tear all these neighborhoods down and we supported you and this and that, which earlier in the episode, Senior wasn't too happy about Kent making accusations against his son. So he's pissed off and, he leaves. Carly's pissed off because, just how Stephanie was acting was a clear indication that Lori was right. And then Evan was pissed because Stephanie did exactly what he said not to do. And she pretty much clears the room. So overall, pretty solid episode. 9 out of 10. I stand by it. The title of the episode, Giving Up, does seem to reflect on a lot of things, like Lori kind of giving up on Carly when she had that threesome, but then also exposing everything she did to Carly. But then Carly was the one that kind of gave up on them because obviously she was more emotionally invested in what they were than Lori was. I can kind of see Rondell being protective of her dad, but at the same time, I'm wondering what it was Thelma's Place 35th anniversary. So I get it was a special occasion, but having the anniversary of the restaurant you started with your wife, was that really the best time to propose to another woman? But then you have to look at Rondell and the reason Kent and Bella's mom were so mad. Was Rondell really giving up on Thelma's Place? I mean, to be honest, she looked at the fact, we know how hard she's been fighting for the past 8 episodes, and she wouldn't just give up unless she knew there was something else she could do. But the fact that the petition was really the best thing to do, but that got destroyed by Stephanie, there was nothing else for her to do but to sign. And Evan made a good point. No matter how much you petition, how much you march and everything, change is going to happen regardless. So the best thing you can do is not necessarily throw in the towel, but stop being stubborn and look at the bigger picture. And then getting the redesign for Thelma's Place would be the best thing. So then you also look at Damien trying to get Amar to give up on her marriage, but that's not going to happen. Stephanie's just raising hell all over the place. I did feel like, man, that's kind of messed up. It did seem like at the moment it was kind of like Stephanie was looking out for Rondell the same way Amar was looking out for Stephanie. Because Stephanie saw firsthand how cutthroat, no pun intended, Greg's family was, and the fact that if she thought what Greg was doing to Rondell was bad enough, then the fact that she knows how bad his family is like, look, if Rondell doesn't sign these papers, it's not going to be nice. Just like Amar was like, when it came to Karen and everyone telling her to take down Lancaster, Amar met with Stephanie just to let her know what was going on, just to kind of look out for her for old time's sake, but she didn't want the help. So that's pretty interesting dynamic to look at as well. And let's see. Well, Bella kind of wanted Evan to give up when it came to not following the visitation schedule for their son. Bella's mom also wanted Evan to kind of give up the charade and actually be present in his son's life. Yeah. This is actually a pretty good episode. So with that being said, folks, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What did you think of the episode Giving Up? It looks like next week we're finally going to get follow-up and hopefully an answer to the question, who poisoned Stephanie? And with that being said, make sure you take a moment to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss out on any new content. And as always, I'll talk to you soon. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video. If you like what you just saw, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, or if you have anything you would like to add to the video, make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you want to keep up with me on social media, go to the description box. All of my links for social media are right there. Also, if you feel like you would like to donate to the channel, make sure to click on the link to PayPal. Any amount helps. $1, $5, $20. As a full-time YouTuber, any support from my fans really does mean a lot to me. Finally, make sure to hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification icon. That way you're kept up to date on any new content I post to the channel. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you in the next video.